Have you ever wondered what would happen if one of the world's biggest and most dangerous volcanoes erupted? Deep in the heart of the United States lies a volcano called Yellowstone, and it has the power to turn the world upside down. This supervolcano, one of the most active on Earth, last erupted about 640,000 years ago. But its presence is still felt today through the bubbling hot springs and geysers in the region. Imagine this. If Yellowstone were to erupt, an area with a radius of 100 kilometers or more would be completely obliterated. The eruption of this volcanic giant could launch massive amounts of ash and toxic gases, like sulfur dioxide, high into the sky, causing air pollution and contaminating water sources. The resulting changes could drastically drop global temperatures, disrupt agriculture, and create serious food shortages, sparking a major crisis. But that's not the end of the story. A Yellowstone eruption wouldn't just threaten the lives of millions in the U.S. It would also cripple infrastructure and transportation networks. Its impact would spread far beyond American borders, affecting other countries as well. This eruption could trigger a global disaster with consequences that might last years or even decades. The world would face profound, life-altering changes in the wake of this catastrophic event. Wildfires are not just devastating events, they leave profound impacts on the soil as well. The intense heat, destruction of vegetation, and chemical and physical changes in the soil combine to create lasting effects. One of the most immediate impacts is the formation of a hydrophobic layer on the soil's surface. This happens because organic materials in the soil break down under heat, releasing water-repellent compounds. These compounds seep into the soil, creating a layer that resists water infiltration. Heat alters the soil's microstructure, reducing its porosity and limiting water absorption. The result? Rainwater runs off the surface instead of penetrating the soil. Increased runoff leads to accelerated erosion, carrying sediments into streams and rivers. But that's just the beginning. The destruction of vegetation adds another layer of complexity. Without the protective cover of plants, the soil is exposed to wind and rain, making it more vulnerable to erosion. The natural cycle of organic matter returning to the soil is interrupted, depleting its nutrients. Fire also triggers chemical transformations in the soil. The intense heat temporarily releases nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, which can boost soil fertility, but only for a short time. Burns away organic matter, degrading the soil's structure. Alters the soil's heat, either making it more acidic or alkaline, depending on the conditions. Volcanic soils are particularly vulnerable. They're porous. Structure and rich mineral content are easily damaged by heat. Significant changes in their water retention and chemical properties. The long-term consequences of wildfires are even more concerning. The soil remains prone to erosion for years due to the loss of vegetation and structural changes. Poor soil conditions make it harder for vegetation to recover, creating a vicious cycle of degradation. Changes in soil permeability disrupt the water cycle, affecting aquifers and aquatic habitats. In conclusion, wildfires don't just burn the land, they transform it. The physical, chemical, and biological changes in the soil can ripple through ecosystems, altering water cycles, increasing erosion, and complicating land restoration efforts. Understanding these processes is essential for protecting and restoring ecosystems affected by wildfires. When fire engulfs the heart of a forest, the ground beneath our feet doesn't remain calm. Wildfires do not simply destroy soil and trees. They ignite a chain reaction of extraordinary and sometimes catastrophic changes in nature. But how can a wildfire lead to a volcanic eruption? It all begins with the soil. Wildfires strip the land of its vegetation, leaving the soil exposed and defenseless. Heavy rains that follow sweep away the soil, reducing the weight pressing down on the Earth's surface. In regions with active faults or magma chambers, this reduction in weight can act like a spark, triggering volcanic activity. But the story doesn't end there. When vegetation is lost, rainwater infiltrates deeper into the ground, increasing hydraulic pressure in the subsurface layers. This pressure can directly push magma and volcanic gases upward, raising the likelihood of an eruption. Wildfires also fill the air with smoke and suspended particles. These particles not only alter the temperature of the Earth's surface, but also interact with volcanic gases, increasing internal volcanic pressure. Meanwhile, the water cycle is disrupted. Surface runoff intensifies, torrential rains become more frequent, and greater stress is exerted on underground systems. All of these factors combine to awaken dormant volcanoes that may have been silent for centuries, sparking a fierce eruption. Wildfires are not just an environmental disaster. They can be the precursor to a dangerous and awe-inspiring phenomenon, volcanic eruptions. But how can raging flames lead to such an event? Wildfires burn through vegetation, strip the land bare, and prepare the soil for severe erosion. Heavy rains that follow wash away large amounts of soil, reducing the weight on the Earth's surface. In volcanic regions or areas near active faults, this shift in surface pressure can create a cascade of instability. But that's only part of the story. Without vegetation to absorb rainfall, large volumes of water penetrate deep into the ground. This water increases hydraulic pressure in the subsurface, particularly near magma chambers, setting the stage for a potential eruption. Wildfires also release smoke and airborne particles into the atmosphere. These particles alter surface temperatures and interact with volcanic gases, amplifying internal pressures within volcanoes. In addition, the disrupted water cycle exacerbates the situation. Surface runoff grows stronger, heavy rains become more frequent, and the added stress on underground systems can push volcanic activity to a tipping point. What begins as a simple wildfire can escalate into a monumental geological event, a volcanic eruption that reshapes nature and leaves an indelible mark on the land.